We are happy to announce that this episode of the SW Show is partially brought to you by Humble Bundle. Well, not really. We are part of the Humble Bundle referral program, and we just wanted to say that if you like really cheap games and maybe helping charity pending the Humble thing going on, all you have to do is go to humblebundle.com/partner equals SWW. That's right, humblebundle.com/partner equals SWW. And you just do your normal stuff, and it just kind of helps us get a couple bucks here and there. Maybe it helps AJ get his lights. Maybe it's Mike camera. Maybe we actually pay Corey for helping us out. But again, if you're going to go buy games anyway, it might be worth checking out.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to an episode of Movie Club, where we, what's the best way to describe it? We're talking over a very polarizing movie.
So I'm just going to say, I'm going to start us out with the most controversial grounds to begin with. Are you ready for this one?
Go for it.
I'm just saying, I'm someone who I think the bomb might have been historically justified. So, like, to me, when I see the movie being controversial, because it's the most legitimate controversy. The people who are making this movie controversial because it doesn't talk about the moving of the Native Americans or, like, showing Japanese people, we're not taking you seriously. I'm talking to the people who I'm taking serious of why this film is controversial.
Yeah, the people that are like, oh, well, they didn't show that, there were tribes. And they briefly mention, like, what are we going to do after this? And he says, give it back to the
movie. Yeah, it's not a 3-hour movie. You would argue someone should make that film about the unjustified removal of them? I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm just saying, like, a movie's not about everything you want it to be about.
And for those that don't know, we're talking about Oppenheimer.
We are talking about what is going to go down as already one of Christopher Nolan's most successful films. Oppenheimer, which came out on the 21st of July in the United States of America. And its first weekend hit it's currently at $231 million at its international box office on a budget of $100 million. As we said, this is by the great Christopher Nolan. It is not with Hans Zimmer, though. It is with music by Ludwig Göransson, who's basically been doing everything in the world anyway.
I was going to say, if you don't know who Ludwig is, let me just pull up his IMDb and you will know.
Also, while he's doing that, this film is starring the likes of Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, RDJ, Florence Pugh. Basically, if they're famous and you've heard of them in the last 10 years and they're ever in dramas or there's almost art housey side, they're in this, kind of as the rule of thumb. I'm just gonna say it. I am torn. I think it is Christopher Nolan's best technical film. I don't know if it's the best Christopher Nolan film, I think, is where I'm immediately at with this. I think it's thrilling. I think Nolan, did the parallel timelines right, which I think very few films do, because, I think a problem with a lot of films when you do what he did with this is, a 3 films in one, is that super hard sometimes to kind of keep track where we are. He found ways with color grading, with who's there, kind of to nicely isolate this. He made it all kind of make sense, even if you're jumping a bit. I was thoroughly impressed. And I think basically every actor delivered, what will go down as probably acclaimed performances, and some of their top performances probably in their career, and 100% you call it Emily Blunt and Cillian Murphy, at their best points. And I would say RDJ is another one that you have to just be these are performances I don't know if you expected from these people to the level that we got them, and it's amazing.
So, Ludwig Göransson, his first movie was one that actually I could have potentially worked on, 30 minutes or less.
Wait, oh fuck, I know, that's the pizza movie.
Yeah. That was the first movie that he was a composer for. He has a very famous friend. He is
Sounds
very
interesting.
good friends with Donald Glover.
Oh wait, he's his producer, right?
Yeah. He is
Because it's the
Donald Glover's
Community episodes.
producer.
That's where I thought they met 'cause Community.
No, it doesn't look like he worked on Community.
Maybe it was just there was some like I think it was like same circles, but
Yeah.
that's I did forgot. I forgot that it was not like I was like he was famous, but I forgot he like that's why.
Yeah. I guess he was 110 episodes on Community. Yeah. It
Okay,
bumped it up to 2015. That's on IMDb.
that because the last way okay. That I'm like I swore he was like Community.
He was the composer on such movies as Creed and Central Intelligence in an episode of Atlanta.
And he did
And
Tenet, right?
probably his breakout role as the composer for Black Panther. People forget that he was the composer for Black Panther. That wasn't just a licensed soundtrack. He's the composer for New Girl, Venom, Creed 2, Tenet, Bad Trip, The Book of Boba Fett, Turning Red, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and also a little show called The Mandalorian.
Yeah, this man's kind of been everywhere.
This guy is coming up on 40. He's 39.
Jesus Christ, you're fucking.
And has probably more composer credits that are noteworthy than 95% of composers out there.
That's insane. But AJ, as we get started with this film, as I ask you kind of like your opinions of it, I do want to say the one thing to get in people's heads too as we start a discussion is this film will be one of the cheapest major productions in the last few years at only $100 million budget, and how insane that is when like every other film people talk about this here came out it was like 200 million, 180, 150, and this film's like fucking we barely have like 8, 9 figures going on.
Yeah.
But what did you think of good old Oppenheimer?
So I texted you that the showing for when I went to see this movie, the film projector had issues. It had audio sync issues. And they cut the movie about 15 minutes short, and it stopped in the middle-ish. I still don't care. Like, I saw the bomb go off in 70mm IMAX. You know, I saw everything that you wanted to see for the IMAX side of it. I was able to see that. As such, the way that this movie uses color to tell a story. Because for those that don't know, there are actually quite a lot of this movie's in black and white.
And in fact, what's I think cool about it, it was filmed actually in black and white. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah. Kodak had to develop a unique film. The reasoning behind that is, a little spoiler here, everything in black and white is factual. So, like, this is stuff that is corroborated. You know, it's objective. It's the facts, right? Anything in color is Oppenheimer's mind. Like, his subjective look on the world. So, when you go see this movie and you see the courtroom sessions or the Senate hearing sessions, and those are in black and white, remember that they're in black and white because that's an objective truth.
Because we could look them up and whatever.
Yeah.
We know what they look like.
All that stuff is objectively true. Now, I'm glad that they didn't make the bomb black and white, because this is a movie, like, very few movies I say you have to go see in IMAX, because it's usually just a gimmick.
Yeah, I saw it in IMAX. You see this movie in IMAX.
Yeah. You see this movie in as big a screen as possible, ideally on film. Granted, there's only 30 in North America, so it's kind of hard to get that experience. But at the very least, go see this movie in your local IMAX and be amazed at the open, because that has some of the greatest visuals of the movie. It's crazy how strong this movie opens in terms of visuals.
Mm-hmm.
As you see the explosion in slow motion, and it reveals the what is it, the Prometheus quote?
Yeah, it does like the whole open with it. Yeah.
Yeah, Prometheus got the power and he destroyed the world. Or however, whatever the exact phrasing is.
He gave men the power to destroy themselves. How it was.
Yeah, hold on. I can look this up. It's not Prometheus, but that's the one that I always want to go to.
Prometheus is the name of the American Prometheus is the name of the book.
Yeah. Prometheus quote in Oppenheimer. Hey, it's the first one. Prometheus stole fire from the gods and gave it to man. For this he was chained to a rock and tortured for eternity. Is the exact quote. It's a pared down version of a quote from Apollodorus that appears on one of the first pages of American Prometheus, on which the film is based. As written in American Prometheus, it reads, Prometheus stole fire and gave it to men, but when Zeus learned of it, he ordered... Oh, shit. Hephaestus? I don't know Greek very well. To nail his body to Mount Caucasus. On it, Prometheus was nailed and kept bound for many years. Every day an eagle swooped on him and devoured the lobes of his liver, which grew by night. Apollodorus, The Library, Book 1, Chapter 7, 2nd century BC. This person says, I think most people will agree with me when I say that the tightened up language used in the film is downright chilling. Which, when that's the open, like that's the first thing you see, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is a fireball, and that quote reveals itself in such a really cool way. That instantly sets the tone for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're like, okay, they are not messing around with this. Like it is going to tell his story, the good and the bad. And they handle that very well.
Ask at the end of this film, because I don't think there is a clear answer. Do you believe Oppenheimer is the villain, the hero? Like this film is like about him, but I don't know if he's the antagonist or the protagonist.
I mean,
Cause it's valid to say like it at least show like sure it shows a more positive negative, but it doesn't show him as like this perfect being either. You could definitely point to
Right.
things that are like he brought like security clearance stuff. At least the way the film portrays it, he brought it upon himself. The removal of his own clearance.
yeah, I think Strauss is supposed to be the villain, or at least the perceived villain of this movie.
Right.
The problem is Oppenheimer does not do himself any favors. Like,
So I mean, like this is the like Strauss is there. Like Strauss takes advantage of his opportunity, but Oppenheimer's the one who set up these opportunities.
yeah, I mean, for the people that know Oppenheimer's story, the guy was never quiet about his support for the Communist Party, even though he was never part of the Communist Party officially. But like his brother was, and he had relationships with known communists. Like,
And like this is the era of like
McCarthyism.
Like, right, the era of McCarthyism. So like especially like security clearance stuff. Like you had to declare this stuff kind of during your clearance stuff,
Oh yeah,
whether you were a member or not. So like that's what I mean by stuff like as we're seeing with the other famous people right now. Clearance laws, at least for like certain things, are pretty black and white, and if you just don't follow them, like whether you believe that law piece is right, like stuff happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you're supposed to feel for Oppenheimer because you see him make the mistakes. Right? Like this guy is clearly a genius. I mean, he created the theory of black holes. Right? It wasn't an Einstein thing. Oppenheimer was the one that predicted black holes.
Hmm.
People forget that. That gets attributed to Einstein a lot. And then he goes on to create the end of the world, basically. Right? Like, the atomic bomb is going to be the end of the world, whether we like it or not.
So I gotta point out, I don't know if you saw the thing, which I thought was pretty interesting. Did you see the part where Oppenheimer in Terminator 2, where both of them, James Cameron and Christopher Nolan, reading the same quote in the same book or the same song, and they're like, "Huh, who's Oppenheimer?"
Yeah.
Which I think is really funny.
Yeah. I also love, like, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter be like, uh, Breaking Bad fans, Heisenberg. I know that name. Like, yeah,
It's very much one of those moments.
that's who he's named after. I think the Einstein stuff was a little forced.
Force, but that actor is the perfect Einstein.
Oh yeah, but
Like I will agree with you on the story wise force, but looking at him,
yeah,
I could not have casted a better man.
right. I mean, like, think about it this way. So much of this story has stuff that's just implied.
Mm.
And for good reason, right? Like, you don't need to know everything about it. But they could have implied the discourse between Oppenheimer and Einstein.
More than implied it.
Well, no, I'm saying, like, they could have just,
Yeah.
it could have been a couple lines of dialogue and that's it. I really don't think we needed that interaction.
It's fun. Like I will at least give it to you, but like I do think there is some level, and from like a movie point of view, obviously, what are the odds of those moments happen? Like I at least think it was like a decently fun way to show it because like they made some interesting decisions, right? Of like never showing Hitler, never showing these things. So I feel like if you're doing a science movie, you at least have to give the audience something of like the cameo that doesn't make full sense, but people want to see.
I mean, the thing of it is, like, I was kind of surprised they even showed Truman.
I thought they wouldn't. Also, isn't that his second time playing Truman?
Oh,
Didn't?
Oldman. Because that's who
Played different
plays him in
presidents.
Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think he's ever played.
He played a president?
He played Winston Churchill.
Maybe I'm thinking Churchill. I bet you just because they're right the same era. But I'm thinking.
Darkest Hour, he was Churchill. I'm not seeing anything about Truman. But also his IMDb goes back a ways.
Mm-hmm. But either way, yeah, I was surprised too that they showed him. I thought we would, well, especially you get that far in the film. Like, sure, you might hear a voice. There's no way they're showing Truman because I was like, they just wouldn't.
Yeah,
What do you-
I kind of wish they would have, like, they talked about Hanford and Oak Ridge and Chicago, like, and they went to Chicago. I
That's what
wish,
Fermilab will be is kind of where they end up being.
yeah, I wish they would have showed Hanford and Oak Ridge, like, even if it's just like, a shot in a sequence or like a couple shots in a sequence, because what those cities did and still continue to do in terms of nuclear weapons, should not be forgotten. I had the excellent opportunity to go visit Oak Ridge a couple years ago, and that city wears the scars of that project still to this day. The guard towers are still there where they shut off the city. Like, there's stuff around town. Like, there's still, the Y12 plants are still there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they talk about all that. And all that stuff's still there, or more or less still there. And, like, Hanford for the plutonium, that was, if we want to talk about the, moving of the tribes near Los Alamos, Hanford was 1,000 times worse, and no one ever talks about it. But it certainly was interesting the way that they tackled that. I wish they would have done a little bit more, but I also understand why they didn't. And it was cool that they set up like, oh yeah, he knew about this area in New Mexico from his childhood.
I think that was a cool one.
It wasn't just a random site in the middle of BFE that the government chose.
Mm-hmm.
So it just had the this B-roll thing that I have just had the shot of Oppenheimer walking, and the one in black and white, the one that became kind of the key part of the trailers. And it just reminded of that scene playing out, and it's just like, to the public, this guy's a god.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got a dark past.
Let's talk on the dark past second, because one of the things is obviously like Florence Pugh played who would be his mistress, kind of in real life too.
Yeah.
That's been a general complaint I've been seeing around, is that she's not used super well, and it feels like for someone who's now decently an A-lister, like it was a super weird role for her. I don't know, kind of if you have any thoughts, kind of her performance, kind of how it fit in the broader story.
I mean, I think the problem that a lot of people are having is she's basically just in it for the sex scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, Oppenheimer was kind of a fiend. Like, he cheated on several partners. And, so that part of it, like, I feel like you needed it. I was certainly surprised by it, because
Yeah, for a Nolan film especially.
yeah, Nolan doesn't really do that. So, I mean, her character, like, she was fine playing that character, and in terms of like, well, she's an A-lister, so why should she be in that role? Like, the fact that they had Rami Malek in this movie for all of 10 minutes.
That was
he's
one.
an A-lister.
And that was one that was surprised, especially like he's someone I'm like, he would be expensive just to show up.
Yeah.
How much, like, that's a no. So we talk about this film's $100 million, which I think part of it is because most of it's like a talking head like film, like 80% of it's like just seeing people talking.
Well, and there's no, I mean, the only CGI is like touching up stuff. It's not, there were 27 CGI artists that worked on this movie.
Oh no, I know that. Like I was thinking more because like the bomb and stuff, like that still costs money even if it's physical, right? It's not free. But like that's part of it.
It's a hell of a
like,
lot cheaper.
Yeah, yeah. Especially it's a hell lot cheaper because like it looked like they really probably filmed this in like 2 or 3 locations. They probably didn't film in that many physical spots.
I mean, they probably filmed in London for some of the stuff. I imagine they
Actually in the desert for some.
Yeah,
of
they
that,
actually went out to, if not New Mexico, at least the Southwest.
Somewhere. Yeah.
That's a hard place to be like, oh, well, we're going to shoot in Algeria. Or not Algeria. Like Morocco. Like,
Right.
There aren't many places in the world that look like that. So that's a very hard thing to fake.
And also the other thing too, people talk about is like the Super A-listers, right? So RDJ, Emily Blunt, and Matt Damon each took like fucking massive pay cuts to work here. And I find that very interesting too, of how like Nolan is this I think he's what it's him, maybe Scorsese. Like there aren't many directors I think kind of period left that can kind of just be like, I am this person. Everyone just wants to work with me because I exist, because of what I can do for a career, for art, or whatever. But
Oh,
like,
you're forgetting the biggest one, Wes Anderson.
sure. But like, is anyone else?
Scorsese, obviously. You already said
I
that.
don't know if I think Spielberg has that anymore. Personally, I think
Spielberg
he does
could.
too much.
I think if Spielberg wanted to, he could. He just gets massive budgets because people just give him money.
I always compare. I think Nolan is closer to our Scorsese from a box office point of view of like they still make money. Don't get me wrong, but like Spielberg, I think understands how do I make the billion-dollar film, like how James Cameron understands. Just like I am the actor that just understands money to a director that understands money to the insane degree that I'll get any budget I want.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you want to make comparisons, Spielberg is Cameron, or I mean, Cameron is Spielberg,
Mm.
and Nolan is Scorsese.
And I think from you see it on their budgets too. Like I think that's decently reflective of what they do.
Yeah. So,
And then Tarantino kind of exists in that corner somewhere.
Tarantino might be one that could get anyone just because it's Tarantino. Especially with his final movie. Like, how many people are lining up at his doorstep just to say
Tim
they
Roth
were
has
in a
probably lived at
Tarantino?
his home for the last like, 2 months to help him finish it.
Like, you got to imagine it's just A-list on A-list on A-list star sending him emails every day. Hey, can I read for this? Hey, can I, X, Y, or Z? But yeah, I would
Maybe the
be.
feet.
Well, no, Margot Robbie's got a feet thing. Remember?
I love that theory online that it wasn't actually Tarantino, it's Margot Robbie because every film she's in.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, overall, like this movie is on the very short list for movie of the year.
I assume it will be. Like, I think it's going to be he's fighting Scorsese in the years, my guess.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah,
What's that
but yeah.
called? Yeah. I mean, Mission Impossible was really good.
But that is not a critical movie. Like,
No, like it should be because that is Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning is probably the best action movie ever made.
well, I'm not saying like it's gonna like it's bad. I'm saying like we both know it's not like when that thing doesn't win awards like because so yeah this like Tenet won award. I am curious if Barbie's gonna actually play in like, award ceremonies.
Oh, it better for like costume design and stuff like that, but
Sure, but I meant like best movie or best con. Like I'm curious if it plays there.
probably comedy. If I guess, I don't know
Oh,
what
for
comedies are
Wolves,
coming
why
out,
choose?
so- but, of course, at this rate, who knows what's going to come out by the end of the year?
God almighty. Also, I do want to point out it's so. Is this like one of the few films ever that had it where, that the premiere's happening while a strike gets called?
I'm trying to remember the last strikes, and I can't remember if there was anything big premiering around then. Because, like, the '08 writer strike happened in the summer. So,
Hmm.
there weren't a ton of movies coming out, but, like, TV was still big. So, it's certainly weird for the people to turn on, like, Leno or Letterman, and it's just a rerun.
Yeah, that is that.
Um, yeah.
I well, end this with discussion, but I am curious if because the actors are striking the same time as the writers don't make these strikes last longer because I feel like actors have more pull, especially the A-listers, where they're just gonna be like, I can float forever. So
Oh, I mean, like that's very clear because people like Dwayne Johnson just footed a seven-figure donation to the strike
mm,
fund.
and we have enough A-listers who can afford to do something like that. Like you can make that fund pretty big.
Yeah. So,
We will see. But yeah,
yeah.
this was Oppenheimer. AJ, final question. Is this Christopher Nolan's masterpiece?
Um, that's tough, right? Like to me, up until this point, I would probably say his best movie ever was Dark Knight. It might just be recency bias that I say this over Dark Knight. You know,
I think it's very
I have a
different.
feeling
Yeah.
I have a feeling down the road it'll probably be like a 1A 1B situation.
Mhm.
So I think that's where I stand.
I stick with what I think in the beginning that I think it is Christopher Nolan's technical best film, but I don't know. I think Dark Knight is a better Nolan film because I think this film is like I think of this film feeling not like a Nolan film in the way I think of Wolf of Wall Street as like a Scorsese film. In that, like, they exist in the catalogs, but they're super weird to compare to any of their other projects.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, tell us what you think of the Oppenheimer, and we'll be back next time with the SWW show. But yes, this was Oppenheimer. Go see it in theaters. Let it make some more money. Let's this way Nolan's next film he'll get a bigger budget or whatever. But
I mean, he doesn't need a
help.
budget. He just proved that.
Sure. I think if this film does well, we actually get other films that are good kind of in the box office once.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice little change of pace.
Who knows?
Who knows? But yeah, we'll see you guys next time. The SW Show and all of its affiliate podcasts are podcast by me, Mike Maroney, and AJ Losi, sometimes by our contributors, including Corey King. You can follow the SWW Show on social media at the SWW Show, or sooner or later you go to patreon.com/SWW to help us out. Thank you. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day.